Oh, maybe I'd mute it down.
Have you muted what?
When I mute that, that seems to mute the entire thing. So I'll just start out. Okay, should be okay.
Right, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear us now?
I made a mistake of muting the entire system.
Great.
Can I hear?
Yeah, okay, now it's super quiet still. So,
Just need to speak up.
okay, cool, so we should be back online now. Sorry about that. We, technical issues galore here. We muted the sound and inadvertently muted the microphone at the same time, so...
It's because I was doing a teaching.
Yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. We're back on track now, I think. So, James has taken a 2-1 lead in the meantime. I can't hear a fucking thing at night. I can't.
Can they hear us?
Yes, we can hear you now. The thing is, right, Right, let's try again. So, James has taken a 3-1 lead now. I'm not too sure about these camera levels. I think it might be, the mic levels. I think it might be a bit quiet still. So anyway, 3-1 to James. And Yasser immediately puts a good ball in front of big foul. James is up to here. Not sure this is necessary now. Maybe we try this if you're worried about yellow blocking the clearance or something similar. It turns out it's a good clearance, but you see that red's gone about the same distance as black. And so now yellow comes back into position. The fact is that James has just done a shot and gained nothing for it. So you see this looks pretty familiar now. Both blue and black have a 15-yard clearance. And James really shouldn't be shooting. This should just be ball in position, definitely. Because essentially he's going to be clearing until he stops dead and one of his clearances up. And yeah, that's a good shot. Can't quite tell from this angle whether it's completely runnable or not, but
There's no, we can turn this one off.
right. And then James does the second clearance in order to be in control of this hoop. Cool. So it doesn't seem to be runnable at all, actually. He's looking to play almost directly across this hoop, probably trying to get about an inch slap bang in front. And that's good. So I think red here is probably just going to hit blue away. It's probably not what he wanted to do this shot, but it's what he's going to have to do, I think. And yeah, that's why he didn't want to do it. You see blue's barely moved. blue can no longer run the hoop, but red's had to disappear. And now if James gets a decent stop shot here, then he's taking firm control of this hoop. Having said that, though, I think you have to do something about blue there and then, because this clearance by black is pretty straightforward. And there's no guarantee that yellow will hit this return clearance. So, right choice of shot given the circumstances, but he's in quite a bit of trouble now. And now he's playing back, and to be honest here, I'd like to see James just go right in front and then leave yellow to be cleared by black. There can be the temptation here to clear yellow with blue just because it's a shorter shot. The problem then is that blue's getting further and further away from where he wants to be, and actually blue can't really clear yellow very far at all. So James really should, I mean, unless he's got a bit worried about this clearance, he really should just be putting the ball in front here. So that's a good stop shot. It's in terms of it's done what we wanted to happen. But the problem is that now red's free to come in front of the hoop, and black has to clear. Yellow's expecting to clear blue a fair distance, I think, and yeah. So now Jamie's having to clear black. Sorry, now Jamie's clearing red with black, and that's really unfortunate. There's a good centre ball stop shot, and in that way he held control of black. But the problem is, it looked like red was pretty. It looked like black and red were pretty in line with the hoop, and because of that, after James did that stop shot, red collided with the hoop. It'd be pretty unfortunate to get the rush peel, but red hanging around having hit the hoops kind of negated a lot of the point of that clearance. Having said that, yellow's got a biggish shot in order to clear blue, but so yellow does clear blue, but yellow's actually ricocheted off onto the wire of hoop 6. And I can't quite tell from here whether red can get in the jaws, run hoop 5, or probably nothing. It really matters actually, because if red can get in the jaws here, then Yas isn't very strong. I'd be a bit surprised if red can run altogether, but from this angle it's a little bit difficult to tell. James is just double checking before he plays his shot exactly what red can do. I mean, if red can run this, then that's pretty unfortunate. If red can't run this, blue just wants to be in. Well, if red can draws, then you need to be able to do something about it by going into jumping position. The problem is if you go to jumping position, red can stop shot you away. So in the end, he elects for the clearance, and to me that says that red can do quite a lot, and James wants to do something about it. But the problem is that now blue's disappeared. There's no pressure on Yassi unless he just draws it. Just draws it. Eugene is internet stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, he manages to get it in the jaws, and in fact, I don't think he's gone too far into the jaws, because had he just sat just very slightly in, then, but as it turns out now, black's able to do something about red, but not quite. And actually, after that shot, we can see why red got so far through. This seems to be a little bit of maybe a little hole in the hoop that red flepped into. And when black cleared, or when black went to clear red, red sort of wobbled in that hole. Yellow's going to struggle to get a man to this, but I mean, he'll be happy. Oh, maybe he can. So he's just going halfway. This hoop 5's over. He just needs to get halfway. This is a bit awkward.
This might be louder.
This might suck. So. So we're trying a different mic now. Hopefully it's going to work a little bit better. It's not like it, is it? So we're trying a different mic now. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better. And yeah, so now everyone's just gone to the middle, and red's got first approach to hoop 6. So that takes it to 3-2. And yeah, James was a little bit unfortunate there that when he went for that stop shot, red collided with the hoop, and not only collide with the hoop, but then also remain in position where he could do something useful, like get in the jaws with it. But I think perhaps he sort of conceded the area close to the hoop in the first place by going for an early clear. And I think if he just waited one turn to clear and cleared into the lawn, perhaps he could have either forced Yasser to he could have either forced Yasser to yeah. So that's a good clearance. Oh no, he's cleared the wrong ball there, sorry. So he's cleared the wrong ball, and now red's got a shot to go level in this game. Blue's flicked off towards hoop 7. So blue's flicking off to hoop 7 is going to complicate his decision a little bit. But the fact is, blue's not slap bang in front of 7. And because of that, I don't know, I think you just run this. This is wrong. This is red's got to stop dead for this to be even a okay idea, and if it travels very far, he's got real problems. So he played that pretty well, but the fact is that I think black now goes really close in front of this hoop, and if black goes really close in front of this hoop, then yellow's got to deal with it, and if yellow doesn't hold position, he's in a lot of trouble. And that's a good shot. So this is an important shot now. So actually yellow's leaving the clearance for red, and that looks really awkward. That looks really awkward. Red can clear black, but yellow seems to be right next door to it, and that's going to prey on his mind a bit. And more often than not, when you're in this situation, suddenly you find red colliding with the yellow, no matter what you try. James looks like he's lining up a takeout here, but no, it's a block, and I think that's the right choice. If blue blocks this, then it's very nice, but it's strayed away. He's not too happy with that. So now it's a big choice. Now it's a big shot even. Red's got to take black and only black here. And that's a really good shot. That's a really good shot. And actually, see where red's gone. Red's now nicely in position for hoop 7. And so pressure's on for this shot. So Yasser's put a lot of his eggs in one basket here, because if James does do this return clearance, James is in a good position for this hoop. But and that's great. That's really great. So I think blue doesn't quite run, or at least it's not that straightforward. But yellow's a bit stuck for places to go now. Um, so yellow can't really go far away because then blue just goes slap bang in front, and if yellow goes tight, then blue clears. Um, it'll be interesting actually if so blue does seem to have a hoop shot, but it's not that easy. It's for a 4-2 lead though, with red onside at the next hoop, and he's going for it. No, no, it's not. I've got to learn when James is taking position and clearing, but no, he's just gone tight in front. That's that's banking on black's clearance quite a lot. Um, I think there I would have been tempted just by the straightforward stop shot. Um, so red just comes in here. If he can, he'd like to get a block on black on yellow, but position is first and foremost. It's looking oh no, it's not quite there. So now James has got to clear yellow. Um, and if he clears this pretty well, then again he's in good position. Oh, that's a great shot. It's a great shot. So now Yas is the one who's clearing to save himself in this hoop. And he blinks first. Yellow doesn't quite hit, and because of that, and James has wrestled himself back into control of this hoop. And actually, there were multiple times at this hoop where red was onside at the next hoop. And yeah, so James looks set to get a 4-2 lead, and that's really good. That's a well played hoop. Well done. So with yellow being out of position a bit, James has got the luxury of going for 2 clearances if he fancies. Um, um, yeah, and so red's trundled just in front, and I think James should really take this out. I don't think there's any real guarantee that yellow's going to get a good position, and it should be a free shot to clear this red. Yeah, and that's a nice shot. Well done. James taking both black and red to the boundary, and now Yas has got to put a ball in from 20, 30 yards away. And yeah, there we see it. Yellow stopping a few yards short, and this gives James a bit of control now because blue can just come straight in. Um, it'd be interesting actually to see how aggressive each player is and how aggressive each player expects the other to be, because um, because ordinarily you'd leave that clearance on blue to yellow, but judging from the clearances that we've seen already this match, I'm expecting James to have this clearance on yellow, and black can actually clear yellow an awful long way. But actually he seems to be going for red. Um, so black clearing red sort of prolongs the hoop. Um, black going for yellow is sort of ends the hoop quickly one way or the other. That's a really good shot, and I bet right now James is wishing he'd gone for yellow if he was going to play that sort of shot. But that's nice.
And yeah, Yasser's cleared yellow. Sorry, cleared blue with yellow there. And actually, he could have done with holding position a little bit more, because in fact now um, James can clear yellow and hold position. Oh, but actually he doesn't quite get that centre ball. So yellow's disappeared off towards hoop 4, but blue's gone towards, what, halfway towards hoop 3. And that's a bit of a let off by red. Had red been really strong position, then James would be a bit stuck for things to do here, and he'd probably have to clear with blue. As it turns out, red's not really got good position. The problem is that black cannot go slap bang in front of the hoop here. I think here he just pings it off the boundary. I think he needs black in the mix and just not being able to be cleared by red, and yeah, that's exactly what he does. That's a pretty sensible shot. He probably doesn't want to have to shoot at this hoop from the boundary, but if he goes anywhere else there, he's just going to get cleared by red. Yasser needs this ball in front, like nicely in front, but again, he's not quite there. And you see, this is the value of putting balls in front of hoops. It sounds like such a trivial thing to say, but Yasser's going to have to do so many more clearances now that he's not got either red or yellow in front of this hoop. And now it'll be interesting to see. I think they should just be in front. Get red doing a clearance. And yeah, I'm not sure I liked blue there actually. Um, I I think this should really be in front. I don't know whether he meant to go to the side of the hoop and try to protect the near in front of the hoop from yellow. Yasser's now going for the hoop, and that's a good hoop shot. That's a good hoop shot. Um, and that was probably Yasser looking at the situation thinking, I don't really want to clear blue, and I don't really have to do anything else, so I'll just go for the hoop. I can't help but think that if James was in front of the hoop, Yasser would have cleared. Red's gone behind hoop 8, but not in a situation where black can get a wire very easily. And then because of this, red's now quite a dangerous clearing ball. Black takes good position, and actually yellow takes very good position as well. I think yellow just about reached a situation where red can clear black without too much danger of clearing yellow. There's still, if he catches it on the left-hand side, then red will collide with yellow afterwards. Um, I think I think blue's strayed a bit far to one side, and now he's got a very angled hoop shot. But this is a big clearance now. There's a spot on this black where I think black can go most of the way up the lawn, and yellow be untouched at the end of the shot. And if he gets that, then it's his hoop. Ooh. So he's done the clearance. He's stopped black running this hoop, but he's not quite got the distance on black. Red's disappeared, but I think that's okay, given that blue's not really in great hoop running position. I think that's okay. Um, but yeah, so James shooting here just to stay in the hoop. Not quite, not quite. And so now Yasser's got a fairly straightforward hoop for. Now Yasser's got a fairly straightforward hoop for a 4-all. And actually, given where he was a couple of minutes ago, he'll be quite happy with this situation now. Oh, so that's pretty unexpected, I think. Newish hoop holes seem to hit the hoop in an okay place, but yeah, just didn't go through. and that's a bit of a problem. So James has got the clearance on yellow done, but blue's gone slap bang. Sorry, blue's gone off the boundary directly behind this hoop, and um, that makes the position shot for red that bit easier. If red can get basically a yard or two in front, blue will probably be wide, and then James is going to have to clear with black, which, given that black is almost in corner four, he's going to have to do a 20-yard clearance almost straight away. Having said that, if red doesn't get this wire, then blue's in quite a strong clearing position. I think that looks like it might be wide. I think it might be wide, but James didn't check. James really should have checked there, unless he was just happy to leave red that hoop shot. James should have checked whether blue could see red. So black's gone a little bit deeper than red. Sorry, yeah, than red, and to one side, and red will struggle. Red can't get rid of black very far, but no. Yellow coming into position, and this is just a position shot. Could he not see red? But anyway, that seems like a really nice position shot. I think he's gone for the hoop block instead, and if that's worked, Yasser's got a very tricky decision. Um, red can't really clear black, as that can't be his choice. He could clear blue, but depending on whether blue's directly in line with the hoop, that clearance could be a bit tricky to do. He's probably thinking right now, should I just do a jump and get this hoop over and done with? I think I've not seen too much of Yasser's play, but a lot of the under 21s here, they would love the opportunity to do this jump shot. They wouldn't really think too much about it. I think this is this is a clearance, and I don't like that. I don't know if I like that. So I suppose the advantage of this is that black cannot hide from red after this clearance. So even if black holds position, which he's done okay, black's straight into red's clearance zone, and black can be cleared here a very long way indeed. The problem is that blue's not very far away at all, and yeah, he's basically banking on James not getting a 7-yarder. So yellow coming back into position now, and that's maybe jawsing, I think. I don't think that's quite there. I don't think that's quite there. This has to be very careful position here. So I think that's okay. I think that's okay. So blue's position there had to juggle quite a lot of factors at the same time. Blue has to have a hoop shot to sort of force the issue here. But if he has such an easy hoop shot, if he gives himself a really easy hoop shot, then he's just cannon fodder to yellow. Red pings black off the lawn, and yellow doesn't get to do the clearance. Sorry, yellow clears blue. So instead he had to try to get close enough to have a decent hoop shot, but far enough away that yellow can't just do a stop shot really easily. And now Yasser's forced to take on that hoop shot that he left himself last time. And I think so far Yasser's hoop positioning is letting him down a little bit because he's being backed into these nasty shots. But that's very good. That's really good. So now James has got a couple of jump shots if he wants to win this hoop. He might be thinking right now, I'm 4-3 up. I can afford to go 4 all and have first approach to 9. He might be thinking, what I don't want to do is rush peel and go down. But no, he's going for the jump shot. If he gets this is huge. Um, if he gets this is huge. It'll be 5-3 up. Yeah, red's not great for the next hoop, and yellow's terrible for the next hoop. And ooh, that's second prize. He'll take that, to be honest. Blue's cleared yellow. Yellow's almost certainly still running, or at least jawsing. But no, he's onside at the other hoop. And black's got a feasible hoop shot. It'll be interesting to see what Yas's thoughts are on this. Does Yasser just put a ball in here and let James have a hack at the hoop, or does he not let James have this? So he's going for the clearance. So scores from other games will be up on Croquet scores. It's kind of tricky at the moment, Louis. Sorry to concentrate on lots of other games because I can't really see the clips. So but yeah, Croquet scores will have that. If I hear through the grapevine, what's going on, then I'll let you know. So black playing pretty deep there, and it looks like yellow's having another pop at this hoop. Were you saying that they could hear me? Okay, they know that already. Hold on. And he's back in the draws. And that's a good result. Blue's got to do something about it, I think. And yeah, so Blue's taking a pop at yellow here. You can see a fraction of this, but the fact is he doesn't actually need to move it very far. So yeah, ideally James will be looking to clear this right up the lawn, but even a couple of inches will be really good because it'll either give black an in-off or a clearance or something else. Takes nothing but wire, but even that's kind of improved his situation a little bit. So Yas is just having a moment to think. I think red's really just got to be sticking a ball in here. It's not a very straightforward jump shot at all. If you go for the clearance, I'm not really sure how much it adds, and if you do get the clearance, it changes that awkward jump shot into a difficult. Well, it changes it to a clearance or an in-off. I think really just wants another ball in here to safeguard against another odd accidental clearance during the jump shot. But no, he's going for the clearance, I think. That's very good. That's really good, actually. And by catching it on the left-hand side, he sent it up the lawn, which is sort of closed off the angle for James's clearance. Looks like he's still contesting this hoop. There's about as much on this ball that will clear it as will rush peel it. Oh no, he's not. Good. I think that's the right choice. He's just gone straight off the boundary halfway. So conceding this hoop and just taking his first approach to hoop 8. And now all that's left to do is for yellow to run the hoop. He'll try to get on blue's approach line as a little bonus. And maybe force blue to go deeper than he normally would. I'm not too sure that's reaching. No, that's reached nicely. A few yards in front, and I'm just guessing the way people have been shooting this game so far that red's just going to take position and leave the clearance to yellow. And that's very tight indeed. It does give blue the option to bail out of the hoop shot if he doesn't fancy it and just instead clear red, and black could be very nice, or could have strayed past. Can we get I don't know what the camera angle's like. So yeah, so just doing a couple of checks before choosing whether to clear this or not, but I think this will be a clearance for sure. Good shot, good shot. Maximizes distance there, sending it to corner. And actually, now I wonder whether black's position in front of the hoop may make the clearance on red a bit tricky. I don't know what blue's shot on red is like, but I'm suspecting that there's quite a lot of red that will carry it into black or the hoop, and both of those outcomes would be pretty bad for James. But having said that, if red is running, and I can't see how it's not, then he can't possibly leave it there. He has to do something about it right now. So yeah, he's looking to clear this long distance, but he's going to need a little bit of fortune in catching red in the right place. Well, he kind of got his fortune and he didn't. Black colliding with red there, but sort of getting the better of the contact, and black remaining in front of the hoop. So job done. He's cleared the ball, and Yasser's having to do a clearance now in order to stay in this hoop. And yeah, Yasser not quite making full contact there. He clips black away from the hoop and makes the shot harder, but the fact is that black's still got a hoop shot. And now James has got a, 4-yarder to go 5-4 hook. Good hoop. Good hoop. And 5-4 up. Black went sailing through there. Seems like it went straight off the boundary behind 10. That's probably okay. Yellow might try to get this wide. In fact, it looks like it maybe black really should be on the lawn. And James needs to know whether he can clear that ball or not. But yeah, blues. Oh, that's not where James needed that ball. I think James needed to be a little bit tighter to the hoop than that. I'm pretty sure he was going for a bit tighter and probably just fell short. Because yellow's got a huge clearance on blue now. As it turns out, red's very short. I mean, if you imagine instead that red's like a yard or so in front, yellow can just ping blue away, holding position, and he doesn't have to take on this 3-yard, 4-yard hoop run. As it turns out, it looks like James does have a shot with black. And if he gets this, James is looking pretty good in this hoop. Oh, that's a great shot. Well done. That's really good. And I kind of wonder what Yasser must be thinking now, because it just seems like anything that you put within 10 yards of James, James is clearing away, and he's clearing it away pretty solidly. And now Yasser's probably expecting Blue to run next turn, so he's got to clear. And then on top of that, Blue doesn't have to really clear Red. Blue can just go tight to the hoop, and Yasser's either got to clear and be stuck clearing forever, or have a hoop run with Red. So now James has got a 3-4 yarder for a 6-4 lead. 6-4 lead's huge, of course, because in a game that's first to 7, if it's 6-all after 12 hoops, you go to a tiebreak hoop, and that 13 is a long way from hoop 12. And so first approach is just huge, because the second person's stuck doing a massive clearance. So a bit of pressure riding on this shot. So doesn't quite get that hoop. But the rejection in a way has been kind of kind. If Blue had just missed the hoop altogether or pinged off towards corner 4, Red can approach his hoop tightly. But now Red can't really get much closer to the hoop than he already is because of Blue remaining near the hoop. And the fact is that if Yasser had approached the hoop closer with Red a couple of shots earlier, this would just be a straightforward hoop shot right now. So Yasser going for another shot. Bounces off to the side of Blue. Blue can't really clear Red anywhere, but there is quite a neat trick here available to Black. If Black tries to get into position and uses Blue to hide behind such that Red can't clear Black, then Red's a bit stuck for ideas. And it doesn't actually have to be perfect because Blue gets to play another shot before Red. And so that's not quite on the blocking line, but next shot, Blue, rather than trying to clear it, can just block Red instead. And because of the small distances involved, you'd back James to get that. So this is why Yasser's having to do this clearance right now. Not 100% sure if you meant to take Black or Blue there. It was pretty centre ball, but I think Black, unless Blue was running, Black was almost certainly the better shot. Because in a moment, Blue's going to come back in front, and James is going to have 2 balls in front of the hoop momentarily anyway. So so that's a nice clearance. James just needs to feed this Black back in, and then depending on how he's feeling, Blue could go for the aggressive clearance on Red in order to try to wrap up this hoop early, or just drag it out longer with just sticking balls in front and waiting for Yasser to miss. And that's very tight, and I don't think that's in front. No. From here it's difficult to tell, but body language seems to suggest that James isn't too happy with that shot. So I'm guessing that Black strayed just a bit too far. But Yasser's having to clear Blue by the looks of things. No, there's no way he was going for Black. I think he just missed Blue there and collided with Black. And so now James has got another hoop shot for hoop 10. And that's really nice shot. Well done. The pace he played it at, I suspect he would have been fine with ending up in the jaws there. But as it turns out, it just goes through. And yeah, 6-4 up. Second approach to hoop 11, which to be honest, if you're going to have second approach to any hoop 11 and 5, I think are perfectly fine because Blue can clear Red an awful long way and it's actually not that far. So Black just needs to be nicely in front here and also trying not to be on the line between Blue and Red. And he's certainly nicely in front, and I don't think he's blocking Red's clearance. So Yasser's probably going to have to clear Black just as a precaution. And no, he doesn't quite make it. It could be okay for Yasser because James has still got to do this clearance, else red will run the hoop. But now that yellow's missed especially, if blue hits red here, James is in an exceptionally strong position. Ah, cracking shot. Well done. Well done. Centre ball. Blue's hung around. To be honest, um, blue didn't necessarily have to hang around there. Top priority was that red was out of there. But now that blue has hung around, it's just made getting back into the soup even harder for Yasser. So Yasser really needs to not only clear black but hold around because otherwise he's just going to be stuck clearing for the next 20 minutes. And yeah, I think that Yasser played it. So Yasser played that with not huge amounts of pace, and I think that's a good decision because if he catches a little bit of angle and having hit it hard, then both balls disappear and black just comes back. I think by playing it with a bit of gentle or more gently, red was hoping to sort of hang around after hitting, and that's very good. So James taking a 7-4. James is an exceptionally sporting player. He likes to shake hands after every game, but his opponents sometimes not so keen after the first game in a best of three. But no, he's playing really well. 7-4, and to be honest, in that game, I thought Yasser was a little bit wasteful with his hoop approaches. Um, there were quite a few times where Yasser had to play a succession of good clearances in order to get back into a hoop, but the fact was that he was in trouble in the first place because he just wasn't in front of it. Um, I think that's really what he's got to work on in going into the next game. James seemed pretty solid throughout. Um, the one thing I disagreed with was that hoop 5 when he took on a slightly different. Um, yeah, when he clearance a little bit prematurely, but to be honest, you don't know what's going on in the minds of players. Like if he looked at a shot and just yeah. So as an update in the other semi-final, Edmund won the first game quite one-sidedly, but from what I hear, it's now 6-5. But it's 6-5 to Edmund, I believe. Um, and Ewan taking on a bigger shot at hoop 12 just then. Um, seems pretty disappointed it didn't connect. Uh, I think I'm straying onto screen now. The umbrella is not for fashion or anything like that. It's just simply for wind protection. Um, I don't even know what it looks like. Um, but just looking at Lawn 5 now, where Edmund and Ewan are playing, it looks like Edmund's got a shot for the match. And yeah, that's game and match, well played. Um, I think Ewan fed in a ball and thought it might distract Edmund from his hoop shot, but nah. Edmund walked straight up to that ball and bashed it through. Edmund's looking very solid at the moment. But anyway, back to the second game here. So Yasser to start off the second, even though he's red and yellow, because in a GC best of three, whoever loses the first game starts the second, um, independent of um, whether they're blue or black. And it looks okay. It looks okay. Looks okay. So it'll be interesting now to see whether James goes for two clearances or one. The clearing in the first game was pretty solid, but yeah, yeah. So he's opting for one clearance, and that's really good position. Well done. Um, Black's a nice position, and even if blue doesn't clear red, just black being there will prey on Yasser's mind, and it'll make him think maybe about clearing instead of going for the hoop shot. Um, if he is going to bail out the hoop shot, he needs to make sure that yellow's got really good position too. because worst case scenario is that yellow gets bad position here, and then red declines the only hoop shot he gets at this hoop. So it's important that yellow's in good position. I mean, that may have just about forced his hand on whether red needs to go for the hoop or the clearance next shot. I think that may have covered up half the ball, but unfortunately for Yasser, I think it may have covered up the ball, the side of the board he wants to hit. But nevertheless, James is, yeah, and that might be why James isn't clearing here. He's just taking position. And if this is a block shot on the hoop, and it doesn't look too far off, then that's a very good shot, and Yasser's already a bit awkward situation. So Yasser just clearing black about 10 meters. I don't know whether that, it seemed like he hit him pretty full in the face there, but yeah, so perhaps it was more open, or perhaps he made the most with what was available. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, James has got a clearance back on yellow. Shot, well done. Good clearance. He would have probably preferred to have black go off where yellow is and yellow go where black is, but actually this is fine. Yellow's got a bit of a dilemma. He either clears blue and risks going behind the hoop and getting stuck behind the hoop for the rest of the game, or go for the hoop now. The hoop's very aggressive. It's a much harder hoop shot than blue, I think. And yeah, so he goes for the clearance, and yellow's sort of gone off towards the penalty spot. Blue just needs to come in a little bit deep now to protect himself from red, which is in decent clearing position. I think boundary's a bit much. I think 2 yards off the boundary is good. You know, if red's really desperate to stop blue having a 5-yarder, let him do the clearance. But as it turns out, I think blue's just added 2 yards to any shot he takes on next shot. Black doesn't seem to be quite in front, actually, and that's a bit of a let-off, because here blue's looking to clear red a very long way. Having said that, yellow's even more angled than black, so perhaps the players have found a hill. I don't think there's a particularly big hill on this lawn there. So maybe it's just a couple of blue's looking to clear red anyway. It'd be interesting to see how hard he hits this. So blue and red have both gone a fair distance. So right now, he's kind of committing black to do something next shot like draws or hoop run. He may struggle, given where yellow is, to actually get a mallet to clear red. But this is a clearance. And black remains in its place after red shoots and misses. So let's see how angled this hoop shot is. Okay, it's not as angled as I thought, but so draws here would probably be okay. He'll probably be going hoop, but I think draws is okay. Well, takes a wire pretty full in the face. I don't know how much yellow can do with this. I don't know whether yellow can clear black and hang around, go off a wire. No, he can't. So yellow was wise there not to hit that really hard, because if you hit it really hard, you add an extra yard or two to black's clearance. It doesn't really change much, but yellow disappears at the lawn. Um, Now Yasser's got another dilemma because black can clear yellow an awful long way, leaving blue a pretty straightforward hoop shot. And so red's having to do a preemptive clearance right now. And yeah, I think Yasser may be in danger of getting stuck clearing again. Good clearance. Red sampled to hoop but ended up finding the outside wire and bounced off. It's probably still a bit of a bonus that he collided with the hoop at all, because it would have taken a bit of pace off red. And yeah, if black can get wide from, well, you want wide from red here, don't you? Okay, so black not getting wide as far as I can tell, but neither red nor yellow can shift black very far at all. So both clearances will take it pretty much straight off the boundary in front of hoop one. It's not really enough. Yellow opting to clear right now. I think that's probably okay. Ooh. So yellow just snicking black, but not really shifting black any appreciable distance, and yellow going slap bang in front of the hoop. It's not actually that bad. It's not what you wanted, but as long as red can clear black, yellow should have a hoop shot. Having said that, blue's position is excellent, and there's a very good chance that yellow is going to be wide. I think this is one of the reasons I'm quite keen when balls have a speculative hoop shot, that they go back on the lawn before anyone else plays in, because it's always a bit tricky to know exactly where a ball's gone off, and it doesn't really matter until there's a prospect of a block. That's an excellent clearance. So black's gone off into corner one, and because of that, red's bounced off in front of the hoop one on the boundary. It's looking like Yasser's gearing up to do a 7-yard hoop, and I think that's got to be the case, because sooner or later James will find a block or Yasser will miss a shot. And the longer this hoop goes on, it's got to favour James, so Yasser needs to be taking a hoop shot sooner or later. I'd probably clear blue first and then run with red. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Pretty solid clearance. And because blue hits the hoop, it's not really achieved as much as he would have liked. Blue can now go slap bang in front of the hoop and block red's hoop shot. Red's got some ways around this, like he can clear black and then yellow can clear blue. But if instead blue had been on the north boundary, Yasser would have the option of the hoop shot as well. So solid clearance there by red on black. But the fact is, because yellow can't run the hoop, all James has to do here is come back. Yellow will clear blue. I don't think he can engineer himself an in off, so there's no real immediate danger here. Probably goes without saying that even though the clearance on blue looks good at the moment, you probably don't really want to accidentally bumble into yellow and turn that clearance into a jump shot. James seems to have a big swing on him though, so this is a clearance. Maybe yellow could engineer an in off. It didn't seem that way. And black not being in position means that there's a lot less pressure now on yellow to actually get stuck into the hoop. Uh, yeah, so yellow's now in front of the hoop. Um, and if blue does a 7-yard clearance here and clear yellow away, he would be in a lot stronger position right now if black weren't on the boundary, but instead a few yards in front. Shot. Well done. So good solid clearance. He got a bit lucky with bouncing off into the hoop as like a braking mechanism, but I mean the thing is that you don't get that sort of luck unless you're quite kind of near to the center of the ball anyway. As in, it's one of those that's a byproduct of a good shot rather than just blind luck. And yeah, because of that, red's again a bit stuck. Blue's controlling the area close to the hoop and black's controlling the area deep from the hoop, so red just pings off the boundary in front of hoop 1. Black declining his chance at a 7-yarder, which I think is fair. He's in a nicest position. I mean, essentially, when it comes to 2 balls on 7 yards, you could just say, well, if we both take our shots at the hoop, then my chance of winning it is, say, 60%. And if you already think you're doing better than 60%, then you just feed a ball in. The problem is now yellow's a bit of a sacrificial lamb just to give blue something to do other than block. And now red is probably going to have a swoop shot. Having said that, blue was very good indeed. I think blue's blocking red shot on black, and I don't know what his hoop shot's like, but I think he's going to have to go for it. Good effort, but no, not quite. So red getting rejected from the hoop there, and now James has got 2 balls in front and is shooting for a 1-0 lead in the second. Blue's a little bit awkward, but it's more for his feet than his mallet, so he should be able to get a mallet, so there's no problem. But sometimes it can be a bit distracting. Yeah, so he probably had one half of his mind on the hoop and one half of his mind on the blue. It's not really ideal, but actually, as far as rejections go, that's pretty kind. He started out with 2 balls in front of the hoop. He's still got 2 balls in front of the hoop, and Yasser's going to have to do a couple of clearances to get back into the hoop. But having said that, Yasser instead elects to go for a tight position and just gambling on James not getting the hoop. As it turns out, he doesn't take position accurately, and as a result, it's just a free shot now. And that's a great hoop. Well done. Well done. So James going 1-0 up in the second. After a pretty long first hoop, actually. And yeah, blue's gone off on the north boundary behind hoop 2, and again, blue should be on the boundary here. So blue's not been replaced yet, and red's approaching, and red is almost explicitly trying to get the wire here, and yet blue's not in position. So how will he know if it's wired? It's a little bit of, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. I think red has strayed in front and into an unwired position. Having said that, sorry.